Hey everybody, welcome to another Full on Fighter tutorial. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be going over third order motion. So what third order motion is adding a third center of rotation to what you're doing. And we have two center of rotations for when we move, and that's how anti-spin and in-spin are created. We have our shoulder and our hand. If our shoulder is moving one way and our hand is moving another, we have anti-spin. If they're moving uniformly in the same direction, we have in-spin. If there were a third center of rotation, you could do something that would be anti-in-spin, or in-spin, or in anti-spin, or any combination of the two words, right? And we're going to show you how to break that down. And the way that we break that down is by taking a hand path, creating a poi path, common shape here, linearizing the poi head path, and then moving over and creating a hand path. We linearize the poi head path to create a new hand path, and then move over here and take a look at the poi head path that is now created from the hand path. So let's dive in going through. So at an initial look, let's take a look at what these patterns look like. Right here, we have our basic first pattern. It's a triquetra. We can see here, classic shape. This is the poi head path. And the hand path for that would be straight lines, right? When we move our hand paths, we do straight lines, whether that be 4-petal anti-spin diamond, 4-petal in-spin over here, or 4-petal anti-spin box over here, right, as far as anti-spin patterns go. So what we did in this first step is we take a look at the triquetra shape, and we linearized it. See, we see that the triangle got replaced with bulbs there, and we replaced those bulbs with triangles again. And so we kind of get this like inverted triforce shape, a triangle stacked on top of two right triangles. What we do then, and I'll switch papers here, is we take a look at our new hand path. And first thing we're going to do is take a look right here at our original hand path. When we turn that into a triquetra, we create loops or petals that overlap. So we can do the same thing to our next shape right here. We just start with petals here, and we can go and that's what that would look like. If we refer back to this previous piece of paper, we can see that that's what the shape would look like when it's not stacked on top of its linearized hand path. Secondly, we have a diamond. We can look at that. That's a very common pattern as well as the triquetra. We look at a 4-petal diamond. We have our points north, south, east, west, and we do the same thing. Our poi head path, when we do a diamond hand path, becomes this well and anti-spin. So we do the same thing we did before. We replace the bulbs with triangles. That's the easiest way to explain how to draw these shapes. If you look as well, you can see that a triangle kind of exists in here in the middle, and then it's built off of with triangles outside of it. It's the same thing here. There's a diamond in the middle with triangles built on each of its connecting points. That's the linearized hand path. And then finally, we have the poi anti-spin path, what it would look like as a third order motion. We would call this anti-anti-spin, right? So let's get back on another piece of paper. Let's draw out our shape and figure out how to make that shape. So first we have our diamond, right? So we're going to start up here. The way I like to think about drawing anti-spin is always moved on the inside of the line like this. You are inside the line you're traveling on, and you loop at the corner. And just like that, you have a 4-petal anti-spin. Again, that shape. I'll go like this actually, make it a little bit easier. This shape is this shape stacked on top of this shape, right? So next we have that linear hand path from the 4-petal diamond. That looks like a little sloppy, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the inside of the line and work our way around like we were. We have that shape, cross around it. We refer back to the original paper here. This shape right here is what it would look like. That is a 4-petal diamond third order motion anti-spin. We can keep moving on down. This will be our last example of anti-spin for now. We have a box. Same as a rectangle, just tilted 45, right? So the shape is actually the same again, just tilted 45. And this is actually prevalent for a lot of information between diamond and box mode. A lot of the moves are the same, just tilted at a 45-degree angle, right? So the shape should be pretty simple. I would say this is the easiest shape to draw and probably my favorite to use when spinning poi, just because it is so easy, right? So we've got our basic loops of anti-spin, replacing the corners with loops, and then we replace those corners with triangles, right? And that would be a linearized hand path. Here's the poi head shape. We're going to go ahead and draw that out. So first off, we have our box. Perfect. Next up, we're going to draw anti-spin around the corners. Right there. That's our shape. And again, this shape is this shape and this shape stacked. So we're going to draw our linearized version of that anti-spin pattern. This one is fairly easy. Right? A little sloppy, but we're getting there. The drawings on this page we're taking a little bit more time on. But anyway, so we go to the inside of our lane. We move through. Believe right there. Yep. Took a second. Right there. And we have our shape. And what that would be is this shape and this shape stacked on top of each other is how you would end up with this shape. So those are our three anti-spin examples. The next one we're going to take a look at is in-spin. And in-spin is a little bit different, but it can also be utilized in third order motion. We've been naming the term anti-anti-spin, and that's when we linearize an anti-spin and give it an anti-spin hand path. This could be referred to as anti-in-spin or in-spin, depending on which you want to do. So what we're going to take a look at is just this in-spin pattern at first, and then we're going to take a look at anti-spinning that in-spin pattern. So this is what we start with. We start with a circle. Generally with in-spin, a circle could be for a hand path, it could be extension, it could be one pedal through however many pedal in-spins you want. The hand path remains the same. We see more the definite shape when we move over to the poi head path. Right here we can see 3 lobes on the inside of the circle, signifying for one in-spin, and secondarily signifying that is a 3-pedal in-spin, right? So if you were to take a look at this pattern, we can see that the circles are on the inside, and much like here when we have the circles on the outside, we replace them with triangles. We do the same thing here. We're replacing these bulbs with triangles, and we end up with this Triforce shape. Very iconic, very popular, right? It makes sense because the triangles are on the inside of the circle, right? They're inverted inside. So this would be the ensuing anti-spin shape that would come afterward. You're anti-spinning this in-spin pattern. Again, the third order of motion. You have your shoulder rotating, you have the poi rotating, and now you're linearizing this hand path, which is creating a effect visually of a third center of rotation. Okay, so that should about cover it. We have anti-spin, anti-in-spin. This should cover you for getting comfortable drawing shapes. We're not going to go over the in-spin one because by now you should be able to have a good idea of how to linearize these hand paths and such. Linearize these poi paths and such. In the next episode, we're going to hop on over and we're going to show you what this would look like with poi. And we're going to stack some of these shapes on top of some of these shapes, right? Or rather, we'll be doing hand-to-head relations, sticky hybrids, combining the former with the latter. So stay tuned, and we'll be here to talk about third order motion in practice.